And then my favorite framework, which I'm going to delve into in some detail, is the Octalysis framework. It's a human-centric gamification design framework that lays out 8 core drives for human motivation. And this was developed by a gentleman named Yu-Kai Chou. And here are the 8 drives: meaning, empowerment, social influence, unpredictability, avoidance, scarcity, ownership, and accomplishments as well. And if you look at other theories of gamification, you realize that Octalysis is a lot more encompassing. What's meaning? Meaning is something that your player can identify with. So it's important that in designing a gamified experience, the meaning component must have a semblance of an epic mission, a story that players would like to be a part of, and that story needs to resonate with the players' realities or fantasies or both. Again, that goes back to the relatedness component of self-determination theory. Empowerment. Players should not feel gamed. Every time you and I feel gamed, we lose trust in the institution or the person that has gamed us. Rather, players should feel enabled. At the end of your gamified experience, a customer or a player that goes through your gamified experience, at the end of it, they should feel empowered. They should feel they've gained something. There should be some element of social influence. You need to place some emphasis on the player's ability to display how they are feared within a group of similarly skilled players. This speaks directly to the leaderboard and how you engineer your leaderboard. There must be some elements, and also to the badges and to the points. So your points, your badges, the leaderboard must be such that your players can show them off. So for those who really are doing this for bragging rights, then there is something to show off. There's something to show others. And also, leaderboards and badges also serve to incentivize other players who haven't earned them. Because now they see, oh, let's look at an example where you're trying to train the sales force on a new tool. There are all 300 of them playing, and you've gamified the learning experience, and all 300 of them are learning how to use this new tool and all that. And at the end of every experience, the leaderboard shows up to show where each person is standing. And I see that my colleague, my desk mate here, is about 25 points ahead of me. 2 things would happen. I get challenged and I want to chase her and catch up with her and all of that. I also become quite comfortable that I can actually reach that point, that this couldn't be that hard if my desk mate here could be scoring those points. And I can do the things that she's doing to get to that point. And another scenario could be that, okay, I am really struggling, but I can see that this person is ahead of me. That means that they figured something out. I can walk up to their desk and ask them questions. How did you figure out this? How did you surmount the task here? And that forms that leads to some sort of collaboration. So it's important that there should be some measure of social influence created or crafted into our gamification experience. Now, to keep the players playing, there should be some element of unpredictability. Your players must keep asking, what is next? If you don't have that element built into your gamified experience, the novelty will wear off soon, sometimes too soon, and the gamified experience becomes a flop. The novelty wears off. So it's super important. And you've designed a gamified experience from beginning to the end. You don't abandon it. You keep monitoring it. If you go back to my getting started slide, there's a portion there that says monitor. You keep monitoring it. And as soon as you see that people are beginning to drop off, and it's a game that you want people to play into perpetuity, you go on and extend it. You build in new unpredictabilities into the game. And if you realize that certain unpredictabilities are leading to people dropping off too early in the game, you either make it a bit more challenging or less challenging, depending on what the situation is in this particular case. You also need to build in things that customers or players of your gamified experience would like to avoid. So a good gamified experience should include elements players will want to avoid. If you make it such that progress is lost if players don't log in to play the game after X number of days, then you stand the chance of getting your players to show up and play the game more often until they finish. So it's super important that there should be some elements of avoidance. There should also be some elements of scarcity. The goods of the game should have a measure of variety attached to them. If those goods are easy to come by, players will lose the sense of the challenge and exit too early. Ownership. Players should be able to own the output from their work. Points and badges earned in the game should be exchangeable for other virtual or real goods. So so what's the point of a point? The point of a point is that I can use it. One, as bragging rights, A, I've scored 1,000 points. But B, maybe I could also spend it in a tuning shop in the game and make my avatar look closer to what I look like in real life. I mean, if my avatar started out without glasses, it's a good opportunity for me to spend some of my points to buy my avatar a pair of glasses in the tuning shop, or in the vanity store in the game. You know, all of those kind of things also transfers some measure of ownership of the process onto the players. And if it's legal in your country or in your jurisdiction, you can make those points convertible into actual cash. So there's an insurance firm in South Africa, I wouldn't name them. They allow me spend the points I earn for driving well to buy coffee. So if I drive well for a period of about 2 weeks, I earn about a cup of coffee, which is good. Sometimes I can earn that cup of coffee in a week. So it's some measure of ownership in the entire journey. And also that transfers to me, that makes me not feel compelled to play the game. So if for example, the prizes are too high, or the rewards are too high, or the rewards are such that I don't have a choice, and I don't own anything, I might feel compelled. If it was the law of the land that I score certain number of points every week, I would feel compelled. And the experience is no longer owned, it's no longer shared. The experience is now forced. And in that case, I might begin to look for ways to beat the game. And that's one of the reasons why we need to be careful when designing gamified experiences. The players must own. And there must be a sense of accomplishment. Build in a means for players to feel accomplished and show and brag about their accomplishments. Again, this speaks directly to the points, badges, and leaderboard section.